They don't flirt. They observe. They don't rush. They analyze. When an introvert is interested in you, you might not even realize it. Because while everyone else is busy chasing attention, they're quietly studying your soul. Every word you say, every glance you give, every silence between sentences, they're decoding it. You think they're shy? Maybe. But make no mistake, introverts don't date impulsively. They don't fall for faces or trends or the thrill of the chase. They fall for patterns, consistency, and authenticity. And when they do, it's deep. Today, we're diving into the psychology behind why introverts don't just date. They study, understand, and connect on a level most people never reach. 1. The quiet observer. Introverts live in the background, but that doesn't mean they're passive. While everyone else is busy talking, they're watching. Not in a creepy way, in a deeply curious way. You see, introverts process information inwardly. They don't just see what's happening. They interpret it. They notice the nervous twitch in your fingers, the way your eyes soften when you talk about something you love, or how your tone changes when you're uncomfortable. They collect details the way artists collect colors. Quietly, carefully, patiently. To an introvert, you're not just a person. You're a puzzle, and they'll never try to solve it in one sitting. 2. Why they don't date? They analyze. To most people, dating is about excitement. The rush, the chase, the attention. But for introverts, it's about understanding. They don't just ask, "What's your favorite color?" They ask, "Why does that color make you feel safe?" They're not looking for surface-level attraction. They're scanning for emotional safety. Because for introverts, vulnerability is rare currency. They don't spend it on people who drain them. They're looking for depth. They're studying how you handle silence, how you respond to failure, how you treat people who can't give you anything. To them, these small moments are data points, the kind that tell them if you're someone they can trust with their peace. 3. The psychology of slow connection. Introverts love slowly, not because they're scared, but because they understand the cost of emotional investment. Research in psychology shows that introverts have stronger neural pathways for deep thinking and reflection. That's why every interaction stays with them longer. They replay conversations not out of anxiety, but out of analysis. They think, what did they really mean when they said that? Did they sound bored? Or just tired? Were they present with me? Or just being polite? They absorb emotional information on a deeper level. And that's why dating for them isn't a game. It's an emotional study in human authenticity. 4. The introvert's hidden radar. Introverts have a built-in radar for energy. They can sense when someone's being fake, even if that person's smile is perfect. They can walk into a room and feel tension without anyone saying a word. They can sense when you're lying, not because they have magic powers, but because they pay attention to what most people ignore. This heightened sensitivity comes from what psychologists call high reactivity. Introverts' nervous systems are wired to respond strongly to subtle emotional cues. That means they pick up everything: tone, microexpressions, timing. So when you talk to an introvert, know this: they're not just hearing your words. They're reading your emotions in high definition. 5. The real reason they don't approach first. Here's what most people get wrong. Introverts aren't afraid to talk to you. They're choosing not to. They don't make the first move because they're still studying. They want to know, do you make people feel comfortable? Do you listen when others speak? Do you handle silence gracefully, or do you rush to fill it? They're not avoiding you. They're assessing if you're worth emotional risk. Because to an introvert, connection isn't casual. It's sacred. They don't want many connections. They just want the right one. 6. When an introvert finally chooses you. If an introvert decides to open up to you, it's not a small thing. It means they've watched you long enough to feel safe. They've seen how you treat people when you're angry, how you react when you don't get your way, and how you talk about those who aren't in the room. They've studied your kindness, your patience, and your silence. and decided you're worth trusting. And when that happens, their love is powerful. Not loud, not dramatic, but anchored. The kind of love that's thoughtful, intentional, and fiercely loyal. 7. Why introverts are misunderstood in relationships. Here's the irony. The very thing that makes introverts incredible partners is also what makes them misunderstood. They don't constantly text. They don't overshare. They don't need constant reassurance. So people think they're disinterested or distant. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Introverts value presence over performance. They express love through quiet gestures. Remembering what you said weeks ago. Noticing when you're tired. Doing something small that makes your life easier. They love with attention, not attention-seeking. 8. The depth of their love. When introverts fall in love, they don't just love your smile, they love why you smile. They don't just remember your favorite song. They remember the moment you first played it and how it made you feel. They love details because to them, details are truth. They'll study your rhythms, how you take your coffee, the words you use when you're stressed, the shows you rewatch when you're sad. They love in a language most people don't even realize exists. The language of quiet observation. 9. The dark side when they get hurt. But there's a dark side to this kind of love. Because introverts feel so deeply. When they get hurt, they don't react. They retreat. They'll disappear, not out of coldness, but because their minds replay everything. Every word, every moment, try to understand why. They don't seek revenge. They seek closure. And sometimes silence is their closure. That's the moment they stop studying you and start studying how to move on. 10. Why you should never underestimate an introvert. Introverts may seem quiet, but they see everything. They may not always speak up, but when they do, their words carry weight. They may not crave attention, but when they love you, it's with depth most people never experience. The truth? Introverts don't date to fill a void. They connect to understand. And if they've chosen you, it's because they've already seen who you really are, and they decided you were worth studying. So the next time an introvert sits across from you, quiet, calm, seemingly detached, remember this. They're not bored. They're reading you. They're memorizing the way your eyes move when you're happy, how your tone shifts when you talk about your dreams, and how you handle silence without fear. Because introverts don't date to pass time. They date to find meaning. And when they fall for you, they don't just want to be with you. They want to understand you. Deeply, completely, quietly. Because for them, love isn't about noise. It's about knowing. If this resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe. Because this channel dives deep into the hidden psychology of introverts, attraction, and human emotion.